Alright, we should be streaming. Welcome y'all. Good morning. This is Ned over my Philippine Dreams and to the D over at MPD, coming at you from Dumaguete City, the city of gentle people. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus. It's coming up. Hope it is all treating you well and you guys aren't getting too stressed out with all these holiday preparations. We're keeping it simple. We're probably going out to dinner on Christmas Eve. And we'll be doing some other things. And we got something planned for Christmas Day, actually. I got to go swing by Bud Brown's house this morning because he's not answering texts as usual. Oh, he's very bad about answering texts. Michelle is sleeping. It is Wednesday morning, December 21st, 2016. And today, because I'm going to try to keep this short. I know these live casts can sometimes go on a little long. So I'm going to try to keep it short and to the point if I can. But what I'd like to talk about is my favorite troll comment post ever. And this guy actually put a lot of time into writing this, and we're going to be checking it out in a minute. And actually, if you've been on the Philippine expat vlog sites for a while, you might remember him. His username back then was Information Deposit. He lives in Las Vegas, and his real first name is actually David. And he's an interesting character. He's got a few websites. He sells how to get rich quick because he cracked the secret code of the stock market and the commodity market. And he sells his course on how to do oil trading to make a lot of money. He's an interesting guy. He's also being stalked by the International Jewish Conspiracy and the Freemasons. So let's get right into it. This is my favorite comment ever that was left. And some of it is trolling, some of it is just anger, but there is some truth to it. As in all things, there is always some little kernel of truth or something to be learned from this. All right, so let's get into it. And this was published actually on a couple forums. I believe one of them was the whoremonger site, Philippines. What is it? I forgot the name of it. But somebody, I'm sure, will post it in the comments, and I will put it in the comment when I post this. So let's get right into it. This is David. This is Information Deposit, and this actually comes from about 2.5 years ago. I would like to publicly state, Ned, that I believe that all of you over there, Travis, Kraft, Henry, you, and all the rest of you over there are lying about what you say. For starters, the Philippines is the, he meant to say most, polluted and disgusting place I've ever been. I just got back 2 days ago. I was there for 4 days. I made an emergency flight back home because I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the smell, the sewer smell everywhere you go. I couldn't stand the smog and the fumes and black smoke belching out of the cars. In fact, I had to go to the hospital and be put on oxygen. What you see in the videos is not the way it is there at all. And the real kicker is none of the girls go out with white guys. Please stop your lying. You couldn't get another girl if your life depended upon it, and you know that's true. I saw a total of 15 white guys while there. Only one had a girl. All the rest looked desperate for a woman and couldn't get one. The girls there don't go out with white guys. That's a fact. And the pollution of the place is out of this world. It's beyond description, beyond words, beyond belief. Any man from the USA that would choose to live in the Philippines is the lowest class of the low in the USA. 100% fact. I was appalled by the conditions there. And the only reason why you have this channel is for you to make money from it. Yeah, because I'm making so much money. Oh, by the way, buy our book. If you want to buy our 400-plus page book on living in the Philippines, living, working, studying here in the Philippines, the link is down in the video description box. I was appalled by the conditions there, and the only reason why you have this channel is for you to make money from it. It's that simple. All of you in this movement, happierabroad.com and all the rest of you, he's talking about Travis and Henry, because basically those were the big vloggers back then. And all the rest of you are the biggest bunch of losers on planet Earth. And I really wish I could see you in person so that I could knock your teeth straight down your punk throat. My name is David, and he says his last name. I live in Las Vegas, and if you ever become a man, you let me know and I'll meet up with you and knock your punk teeth straight down your punk throat. That's twice he's done that. Then he gives his phone number, 702-473, blah, blah, blah. So that is my favorite. That was like the first time something like that was actually directed at me. And at first, I was just like, oh man, he's threatening physical violence. He's a troll. I'll have to ban him from the channel. But I didn't ban him from the channel. Although a lot of his other comments are pretty crazy. Corey, if you're watching this, you'll remember Information Deposit because he cracked the secret code to the stock market, and he's an independent millionaire. And he's actually got a YouTube channel if you can find it. I'm not going to say what it is, but he's got like demonic possession, reptile people, and he's got a real bunch of interesting topics that he talks about. Is there a kernel of truth to this? Absolutely. There's more than a kernel of truth to this. There's a lot of pollution. There's a lot of congestion. And all I can think is, and I didn't get the specifics because I actually never did call him, but I believe he went to Manila. I believe he was in the National Capital Region. And when you're first coming to the Philippines, that's not really the best place to land long term. Because it can get very congested. Depending on the time of the year, it can be extremely hot. You have all those huge buildings there, so there's not much airflow, so everything's stagnant, and it can be pretty nasty. I did not enjoy my time there. I try to avoid Manila as much as possible now. I fly out of Cebu. Cebu's bad enough. I was actually talking to a guy who lived in Cebu in 2002. He lived there for like 5 years. He said it was a small town back then. You go there now, it's just insane. And that's not dissing anybody in Manila or people living in Cebu or working in Cebu or studying in Cebu. I know there's a lot of foreigners there because there's a lot of schools. So yes, a lot of things he talked about is true. As far as the women go, I'm not sure where he was or what he was experiencing. He's not an old guy. He's actually, I'd say he's younger than I am. He's a couple of years younger than I am. He's not a bad-looking guy. He's got a good head of hair. So I don't know what happened to him there or what went on. And for him to be admitted to the hospital and put on oxygen, that was pretty interesting. So that's that. That's my favorite comment. It's actually, and if you go up on those Philippine sites, those forums where he posted it, you'll see the replies that he gets. And people are kind of beating up on him for that. But hey, you know, that's what forums are for. Especially like these expatriate forums, like the Living in Cebu forum, which I've belonged to for like, 5 years now. That can be a crusty band of freaking pirates over there. Those guys can be tough. So, speaking of trolls, before I get to the comments that you guys are leaving, if anybody's watching this, let's check the feed. Is anybody watching this? Alright, we have 70 people watching. Okay. We'll get to the comments that you guys are leaving in just a minute. But I just wanted to talk about the Philippine vlog site. If you want to go down a scary rabbit hole, I think I talked about this last time. There's like 5 or 6 Philippines vloggers that are really going at each other. They're going at it tooth and claw, and they're actually reporting each other's videos, getting channels taken down, and then doing videos, taking credit for it, and congratulating themselves. That's pretty crazy. And one of the guys, I'm not going to say any names, but he was actually saying, yeah, I hit his AdSense, I hit him in the pocket, and that's where you can really hurt somebody. If you're actually doing that, going out to take away somebody's AdSense or attacking them like that, you're pretty much a cretin, man. You don't hit a man in his pocket. You don't hit a man's earnings. Because a lot of guys, you know, that money's going towards their families, their lifestyle. You know, that's what they have. That's their income. So that's pretty cheesy. And there's also a lot of hypocrisy going on. You got some channels that keep talking about freedom of speech, free speech. It's so important. It's in, you know, the Philippines Constitution. It's in the United States Constitution. And some of their channels are the most heavily moderated channels that I've ever seen. And you can actually tell, like if you do YouTube through Studio Manager on your phone, you can go to see these videos. That's where I usually watch them when I got absolutely nothing else to do, because they are amusing. You can actually see how many comments have been put down, because there's a little counter. It'll say like 41. And then you look down at the comments section, and there's only like 4 or 5 comments down there. So what they're doing is these guys are having to moderate their channel to get the comments that they want to keep. And that's kind of cheesy, because I think a lot of them are being faced with facts. And some of them don't like facts. And it doesn't fit their groupthink, it doesn't fit their ideology, so they're taking them down because of that. They're also accusing each other of libel and slander. Now the thing about libel and slander is, if it's true, it's not libel or slander. In the Philippines, however, if you libel or slander somebody, you can be taken to court, you can be sued. So if these guys want to file in a Philippine court a civil action against another person, they could actually do that. Because According to Philippine law, if it's meant to hurt somebody, even if it's true, it's okay. Whereas in the United States, where if it's true, it's not libel, it's not slander. But a lot of them are saying, oh, he's libeling me, slandering me, they're saying vile things about me, when they're actually just facts. So guys, just chill out, try to find the love and compassion. It's the holidays, Festivus is upon us, and it's time for feats of strength in the next video. We got something, like I said, we got something planned for Christmas Day. I'm going to keep that a surprise. Something that we did last year. Hopefully we'll do it again. That's why I got to swing by Bud's house to see if I could get his assistance on that. So that's my favorite troll post comment. That's my little take on the Philippines expat vlogger drama that's going on. It's a little ridiculous. And if you're wondering what a troll is, basically the test for it is this. If you wouldn't say it to somebody's face because you'd be afraid of them punching you in the jaw or punching your punk teeth down your throat, that's probably trolling. If it's not something you'd say in a public space or directly to somebody, you're trolling because you got the safety, you got the anonymity, you got fake usernames and all this stuff. One guy has a real username, but people have Googled him and it didn't work out too good for him. So let's go to the comments. Bum, bum. I got a busy day today. I got the 2,000 kilometer check for the Honda. John Taylor. Bud seems like a cool guy also. Yep, John, he is a cool guy. He's probably the nicest guy out of all his vloggers. He's probably the nicest. He's just a decent dude, man. Dwight says, so hello Ned, I managed to get settled in, buy my scooter, and learn all the best things. Thanks for your help. You're welcome. I love scooters. No more motorcycles for me, man, just scooters. And then when I get to a certain age, I'm going to get a private trike and get a driver and have them chauffeur me around. John Taylor, I don't understand why anybody would troll you guys. It's the internet. It's the interweb. People are... And actually, let me talk about this real quick. When I talked badly about expatriates here in my last video, when I said it takes a certain type of individual to live here, I was referring it takes a certain mindset. Unfortunately, what happens also, there's a lot of chismes, there's a lot of gossip, there's a lot of backstabbing going on. It got to the point, after I was here for about a year and a half, it got to the point where somebody who I was talking to would say, hey, you see that guy over there? He's a... And I'd say, listen, is it true? Can I Snopes it? Is it, can I Google it? Is it a fact? Or are you just, pulling stuff out of your ass? Or is it hearsay? And because that stuff's not good for you spiritually. Spirituality, to me, is a connection to something greater than yourself. It's connecting to other people. It's having those relationships. And when people are gossiping and sharing chismes, it just sickens the soul. But you get a lot of that here, because I think a lot of guys have a lot of time on their hands, and they're not doing much. And they're not feeling too good about themselves, maybe, so they try to bring other people down. The Australian Seaweed. Hey Ned, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Medically, mentally, we'll see. Dave Bonds, oh Lord, here we go again. Yeah, I know. John Taylor, maybe nobody would go out with him because he's a douche. Could be. He's kind of crazy. He's like really crazy. He's that alt-right chemtrails, conspiracy theories, Tower 7, all that stuff. Expat and Training, I would like to buy but don't have a Nook. It's actually PDF. It's a PDF version, and I think I got a Mobi version up there for Kindles. I got to put it on Amazon at some point. I got to do some updates. I got the updates done. I just haven't published them. Dave Bonds, Merry Christmas, Ned. Phil's is not for everyone, especially this guy, in which case I say feck him. Well, yeah, it is. It's not for everybody. I think if you took the average first worlder and brought him to the Philippines and said, hey, you have to live here long term, if they couldn't find that certain something to really like about it, to appreciate about it, and get beyond some of the craziness and the differences in culture and stuff, I hear you. Steve Kreinhop, I was there when Marcos was overthrown and Aquino was assassinated. That's a long time ago, man. Manila is nasty. Jeremy Parsons. Yes, Jeremy, once again, I don't know why all your comments to on my YouTube videos go into moderation. I have no idea why that happens. Yeah, and somebody, Bobby Kane, noted that the guy who got his channel taken down didn't even have AdSense. So, but it's so weird. I mean, guys are hitting each other in the pocket. They're taking channels down, and then they're jumping and, you know, taking credit for it. Ugh. What the hell's up with that, man? But again, it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down. It's interesting. Sometimes when I'm working, I'll just listen to it because most of them are talking head videos. David Pike. David Pike says, I am not a Dave, never was. David is my name, and believe it or not, Hebrew scholars, it does not mean beloved, it means loving. Look that up in your concordance. Thanks, David. Joe Katz said, how did you meet Michelle? I actually got a video up. It's one of our earliest videos. Basically, I lucked out. I went on a date in Asia, and she was like the second or third person I chatted with, and we've been together since. But a lot of times, there's a lot of scammers, there's a lot of hustlers, there's a lot of lady boys. You just got to be careful. You got to take it slow. Joe Cano says, what's wrong with having a weird username? Absolutely nothing. Hold on. Janie Recats, bloody freezing in North Wales. Yes, it's cold all over except here. Actually, the weather here the last 3 or 4 days has been gorgeous. The humidity's been down a little bit, and it's been cooler. Crazy Joe Expat says, PV rules. I respect that comment. He's quite an interesting character. I love the interview video that another vlogger did of him. Boy, check out that comment section. Yeesh. David Pike. David Pike, and then Danny said, agree with you about... David Pike says, so has Duterte said anything about the underwater drone China snatched just off Subic? No, but there was some interesting information came out about President Duterte and fentanyl. And fentanyl, in case you don't know, is a very powerful synthetic opioid. Amongst hardcore opioid addicts, it's actually a drug of preference. And when they find a dead nurse or a dead doctor in a hospital, they'll usually find fentanyl somewhere nearby. It's incredibly addictive, it's incredibly powerful, and I guess he was taking it for a herniated disc. So there's people saying, oh man, he's a drug addict and he's killing drug addicts, and that's kind of hypocrisy. I'm not going to judge, man. I'm a foreigner. I'm not allowed to have opinions here. Yeah, and Joe Brennan, you bring up a really good point. People who talk about negative things on their channels attract negative fans and comments. The trolls will get bored and leave your channel. P.S. Have you seen this last season of South Park? No, I haven't. And that's an important question about South Park. I haven't watched the latest season. I got to get into that. I was finishing up a few other things. But yeah, I mean, negativity breeds negativity, and you don't need that. And you want to surround yourself with positive people that make your life better for being in it. And you know, having those type of people, even if it's just an anonymous internet relationship, it's not good. Dun, dun. And Repro Cop says, I married my wife in 1995, celebrated 21 years together, can't wait to come back home. Alongapo soon. All right. So that's my take on things. I'll tell you one weird thing that I'm never going to be able to get used to living in the Philippines is it being hot and sunny during Christmas time, and you're hearing Christmas songs in the background. Because I've always associated Christmas songs, you know, on the radio and stuff, with snow, you know, the pristine white stuff, how quiet it can get. And here, it's always hot, it's always humid, you're always sweating. And just hearing the Christmas carols, it just brings you to this strange place. Again, it's like, remember the video I did with the escalator, and the escalator was broken, so you have to walk down it, and how weird that feels? Steve Kreinhop says, thank you so much for pronouncing my last name right. You are welcome. David Pike says fentanyl is the primo drug of the opioids. Thing is that it is so powerful that people don't know how to use it properly. It's the same thing that killed Michael Jackson. I'm not sure about Michael Jackson, but yeah, it's incredibly powerful. Matter of fact, I was working at Walpole State Prison at one point, and so many prisoners were dying from fentanyl. Because when good drugs come in, everybody jumps on it because they're like, oh, this is the good stuff, this is the good stuff. But they were having like an inmate, and I think it had a population of like 800 inmates, and like one was dying every week. So the cops, the COs, actually put up signs saying, warning, fentanyl has been coming into the institution. Make sure that you taste your product before you actually do a whole line of it. So even the CEOs, and I thought that was pretty cool of them to actually do that, for the safety of the population. Yeah, Janie Recats, haha, human and Santa. That is a strange combination. It just doesn't seem right. Aussies are used to a sunny Christmas, going to be 35 degrees here, Xmas Day. Yeah, I didn't know that. I always thought Australia was similar to the U.S. with its seasons, but it's not. It's basically has the same Philippines. Danny Williams, Ned's dreaming of a white Christmas. I'll tell you, man, that would be nice, just for a couple days. A couple days. That first snowfall when it comes down really thick and really quiet, especially at night, and you go outside and you can see the street lights and the snow falling, and it's just so quiet. It's so peaceful. Because I live in a pretty rough part of Boston. And it was a pretty dirty part, but when the snow came, it made everything beautiful. Rick Byers, do you plan to stay there until death do you part? I don't know. I'm just making it through today. Tomorrow will eventually come. You never know what's going to happen. Bum, bum. Jenny Recats asks, when is Michelle going to join you live? Well, she goes to bed late because she doesn't get home from work until like 10:30, 11. So she goes to bed late because she watches some TV and stuff. And she doesn't usually get up until around 11 o'clock. And I prefer to do these in the morning before it gets too hot. Or after they feed the dog. Because there's a dog cage, one of those small metal dog cages right over our wall now, like literally 6 feet away from me. And when the worker comes in the morning, the dog just starts whining and barking until it gets fed. So that's after that I usually do the live cast. Dun dun. Somebody asked, when was I at Fort Bragg? I was at Fort Bragg from 1985 to 1988. Fayetteville. I got some good memories of that. I mean, it wasn't the best memories, but I met some really cool people. As a matter of fact, I just reconnected with somebody, this guy Reynard, who I was in, we were in the same unit, and I hadn't seen him, and he hadn't seen me since 1988, and it was, shocking to see how horribly we had both aged. David says, yeah, I was airborne. Bum, bum. And also, Merry Christmas again to everybody, to my family, to my mom and dad who watch this, to my sister, to all my friends, to my nephew, all those people. Dun, dun. Alright, so that's about it. I got a busy day ahead of me. I got to run around and do errands, take care of a whole lot of business, pre-Christmas business to get things done. So happy holidays to everybody. I hope you all understood where I was trying to go with this live cast on my favorite troll. Because even when people are trolling and saying, not so nice things sometimes there's a lot of truth in there. And instead of just shutting down, getting triggered, there's all these terms going around. Oh, and thanks to whoever corrected the confirmation bias. When I called it bias confirmation, it's actually confirmation bias. There's also these new terms: social justice warrior,